Welcome to Films and Stuff with your hosts, Pete Mitchell and Ethan Hunt.
Pete, Films and Stuff. Welcome back. How are you today?
I'm great, Ethan. How are you?
Oh man, we have been waiting for something to come out on Netflix for quite some time, and it was teasing me all day because it said it was coming out on Wednesday. Finally, it seemed like the end of Wednesday came out. The movie is Hustle by and with Adam Sandler. Did you see it?
I did see it.
And what do you think? Were you excited about this?
I think, as we've determined, I am a fan of basketball. I don't think I'm as big a fan as you are. And I was looking forward to it because I'm a sucker for a good sports movie.
Oh, yeah.
I like sports movies because typically speaking, they have a formula and, they're designed to be feel-good stories overall. And this is not a true story, but at the same time, it's because of the liberal use of the NBA and because, they've got actual NBA players in there. I think it's quite nice.
And there are a lot of cameos. And as you said, if you love professional basketball, there are a lot of cameos here by current and former professional players. Mm-hmm. Super cool, by the way.
Yeah.
But what did you think about the movie itself?
So the movie itself wasn't bad. I think it was, like most sports movies, very formulaic.
Yeah.
I think it was very evident how things were going to go from the get-go. There were very few surprises. Again, not a bad thing necessarily. I'm just saying in terms of what we saw, it didn't, very few things caught me off guard. The quick synopsis is that Adam Sandler plays a scout for the Philadelphia 76ers.
Stanley Sugarman. Yeah.
Yeah.
What a name.
And he was a college basketball player that got injured, and because of that injury wasn't able to make it to the NBA, but he was supposedly very good, loves basketball, and has been with the organization for a very long time as a scout, and is widely considered as an excellent scout. Mm-hmm. He's tired of being on the road all the time. He's, a very good basketball mind, and the owner of the team, Robert Duvall, says, "Okay, you know what? I should have done this earlier, but I'm going to give you your office. I'm going to make you an assistant coach." Mm-hmm. Which is something that he's always wanted to do, right? Because he wanted to stay in the NBA. He wanted to be a part of the NBA, and he wanted to be on the bench. He wanted to actually be a coach and, have some room for growth, which you don't necessarily get as a scout. So he becomes the coach, and then almost immediately after becoming the coach, the owner passes away, and the team is handed down to his two children, one of whom he gets along with very well, but she stays on the board, and so takes a step back. And the son, played by Ben Foster, who always plays a bad guy, and he's very good at that. He takes the manager's role, and he kind of dictates terms, doesn't listen to Adam Sandler, drafts someone he doesn't think that he should have been drafted, realizes that he made a mistake, and instead of, accepting that, then says, "Okay, I'm going to ask you to go back out as a scout again. I don't need you as an assistant coach. Go find me another player." Which, of course, Adam Sandler is reluctant to do, but of course he does it, and he's tired. He misses his daughter's birthdays, blah, blah, blah. He finds a player in Barcelona, gets the player who's a construction worker, convinces him to come out and try out for the team and to try out for the NBA in general, comes to Philadelphia, doesn't have a great audition against other, I guess they're supposed to be college players going into the draft as well. Doesn't really have a good tryout. Gets humiliated, but Adam, of course, still believes in this player, and in a fit of rage, because, the owner, the kid, Ben Foster, at the 76ers kind of berates him about that, and so he quits. He quits as the scouting guy and says, fine, I'm going to be this guy's manager. I'm going to take care of him, and I'm going to prove you all wrong. Cue training montage. He gets him into shape. He has another tryout at the combine. He fails at the combine, the kid. He collapses under the pressure. And then, last second tryout again, and he beats everyone's expectations. He overcomes his hurdles. He kicks ass. And then he gets drafted by the Celtics or the Timberwolves. I can't remember.
Boston Celtics. Yep.
Yeah, by the Celtics. And he realizes that he's got a great player. And then the owner's daughter decides that, the brother has really fudged things up. So she's going to take a more leading role. And the her brother takes a step back. And she hires him to be a coach, the assistant coach again.
Sounds a lot like the Lakers when Dr. Jerry Buss passed away, huh?
Yeah, actually. Not too dissimilar, right?
Right? Kind of the son who has his own, abrasive ways and alienates a bunch of people, and then the daughter steps in and she's got a much better way of dealing with people, right?
Yeah.
Curious. So I think you made a comment to me that really resonated, which is this is a great basketball movie. The basketball scenes are obviously very, very good because they're real basketball players. I mean, the training montages. Yeah.
Playing for the Suns, right?
He is. So he was traded from the Celtics. Oddly enough, this year, 2022, he was traded mid-season from the Celtics. And I think he's now on the Denver Nuggets or the Utah Jazz. But he was actually traded from the Celtics, oddly enough.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. But I think you were right, which is the basketball training montages are exceptional. The shooting, the dunking, the passing, the defense, it's really, really good. The plot is pretty generic. And to be honest, it could apply to almost any sport. We've seen this with $1 Million Arm, cricket, baseball. I'm sure there's a soccer, British football movie out there. There's countless baseball movies like this, right?
Yeah. It is your stereotypical rags to riches tale of a
diamond
sports
in the
guy.
rough. Yeah,
exactly.
Found.
Exactly.
And so I have to say the plot is pretty weak, but the basketball and the cameos is probably what keeps you interested in this movie. So if you really like the NBA players, and if you really like kind of like looking and identifying who's who, I mean, there's so many very, very subtle I guess cameos that's pretty cool to me. But again, just in terms of the plot was a little bit annoying because I think they could have made it a much stronger plot. And one of the things you and I identified at the beginning was this guy didn't have to be Adam Sandler's in Spain and he just happens to walk into a pickup game and sees this amazing guy, right? Who's a construction worker playing in his construction boots. It didn't have to be that way, right? It could have been a little bit different that I was thinking either like a refugee / immigrant who is from a different national team who made his way to Spain. He could have been someone who was, previously on the Spanish team and didn't make it for whatever reason. He had to go and support his parents or, take care of his daughter after the mother died or something. There could have been a lot of different ways to play it other than just the 6'9" guy who's amazing at basketball just happened to be there, on the courts at midnight playing basketball.
I agree with you on that. And I think the other way they could have gone with this, and I was hoping that they would go with this, was to subvert expectations because, again, and we're going to say it again and again, but this is not a new story by any means, right? Yeah. We've all seen this. And even if we haven't seen this, it's very easy to predict what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You're never going to have a sports movie end where your main protagonist fails.
Yeah.
And even if he fails, he does, in movies where they fail, he still kind of succeeds, right? There's always some kind of redemption arc. And in this case, there was no way he wasn't going to be in the NBA by the end of this movie. I think we could all see that coming. Yeah. So I think there would have been, there would have been ways of making this story a little bit more interesting, is by adding that, we talk about adding a third dimension to movies, right? Which is to make things a little deeper. And in this case, you've got the sad sack Adam Sandler, who's tired of being this scout who wants to be an assistant coach. That's fine, but that also is very predictable. So one of the things I had talked to Ethan, I had mentioned to him when we both saw it, was, the movie's called Hustle, and obviously that alludes to the fact that you got to hustle, as in you got to move fast on the basketball court if you want to succeed, right? That's the old adage, is always you got to be hustling.
Gotta hustle.
But the other facet to hustle is that, in the real world, when we talk about hustling, it's usually like, oh, well, we've got a side hustle. As in, we're trying to make money somewhere else. Or hustling as in like you're two-timing someone, or you're fooling someone, or you're conning someone. So, and we've seen Adam Sandler do such a good job of this in Uncut Gems, where he literally was hustling, right? Yeah. He's hustling as this diamond dealer or this gems dealer. So why didn't we see another element to Adam Sandler's character where he's not just this sad sack who's spending his own money to promote his this basketball player, but what if he's out of cash? Or what if he's a gambler? Or what if, he owes money to the mall?
Point shaving. You're from Philadelphia. You know all about point shaving.
Yeah. So, yeah. What if there's some third dimension or element, which is, like how, let's exploit the word hustle. Let's look at something else. This guy is trying to make something happen. He was this collegiate star that's become a failure. How do we, and now he's got a chip on his shoulder, so he's been trying to prove everyone wrong ever since. This was too, I don't want to say boring, because again, as a basketball movie, probably one of the best.
It's
some
amazing.
of the best action sequences you've seen in a basketball, some of the most realistic depictions of basketball.
The training, yeah, I agree.
The training was excellent. The pickup game in Spain was excellent. All of it, very good. But as a movie overall, very meh.
Yeah.
Very meh.
I mean, because, you said something which is true. We knew how this is going to end because, first of all, there's an airport scene, which I think there should be a law. No more airport scenes.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they did that once
on the catwalk.
A long time ago, and that airport scene was funny and emotional. They're not anymore, especially because airports are really complicated now with security. There's no more of this.
Yeah.
So, and second, if you really think about it, if the guy came to the States and had, let's say he went to the NBA Combine, I mean, that's not the end of the options that he had. He could have gone to the developmental league. He could have gone professionally and played in Spain, right? Barcelona has a team.
And
how many
very
teams?
Good one at that. Spain
has
got an excellent basketball league.
It's not like, oh, now I've got to pay my own flight home and I have to go back to construction. It's like he obviously proved he's a very good basketball player. Maybe not an NBA player, but at least good enough that he could have made a living somehow playing basketball. It wasn't like construction or NBA. Those weren't the only two binary options, right? So I think it would have been more interesting, again, if there would have been like something where, he was, let's say he was in the NBA or he was in the developmental league, and let's say that, he had like some debt or something, and like some, you said it's hustle, like some mob guys or like bookies got into him and they're like, look, we need this game. No matter what, when you go in, we cannot win by more than 4. We can't lose by more than X. You've got to shave points. And that showed the emotional complexity, and he would have had like all this stress. He had to play good enough to keep his job, but at the same time, he had to kind of like miss some free throws or shots so that, he could pay off his debt. That would have been a very, very good movie, right?
it would have been super tense. And then, of
Yes.
course, because it's a basketball movie, and of
Yes.
course, because it's a Hollywood movie,
Yeah.
you don't want to see him win on
Yes.
that basis, right?
Yeah.
So he gets caught.
Yes.
And he gets arrested or
Yes.
something like that. And it's a bittersweet ending because, he's in jail or whatever it is, or he's, he's sent away from the NBA.
Yeah.
He's fired from the NBA. You see him
Executed.
sitting on his
Yeah.
couch watching the game.
Yeah.
And you see him you
Yeah.
see his player winning, and he's got a smile on his face because
Yes.
he's like, I never wanted this, but I'm happy that at least my guy is out there doing the thing that he
Yes.
loved and he's able to do that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It would have been
true.
a bittersweet ending, and it certainly wouldn't have been something we've seen before.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's where this is a little bit disappointing to me, because when I saw the initial trailers, I thought this was going to be exceptional, and I thought it was going to be, I guess I thought it was going to be a little bit more of an underdog story. And it wasn't really an underdog story. We knew the entire time the guy was immensely talented. He went up, in this initial, draft combine against some of the best players, including the player that they said was going to be drafted number 2, perhaps. He was very good. He may not have been the best player there, but at least he played good enough that, okay, fine. Like there's a spot in the NBA for him. He'll be on a team. It wasn't like he had to be the best player on the court. He just had to prove that he belonged, and I think that he did. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
I
was really like, you probably don't bring the guy's mom and daughter to like an event like this. Not only is that
not the day before the combine,
it's kind of weird, and also of course, this is professionals only. You don't need these types of distractions with some dude and his mom and kid in the stands. They're just normal fans. And I thought that was unnecessary. And the fact that he kind of lost his temper, the whole thing just didn't really sit right with me. And then after that, of course, we know where it's going to go. He's going to get a second chance, and he's going to nail a second chance, and everyone's going to hug, and it's going to be amazing at the end. So it was a little bit predictable. And maybe that's, what's to be expected from a movie like this, which is really just based on, characters and action. But it could have been a really, really dynamic movie, because I thought all the other parts were great.
Yeah. You want to make this an undergrad story? Instead of making him 6'9", make him 5'9". Make it the Muggsy Bogues story.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about a guy who's excellent at basketball, but he can't palm the ball, and he can barely dunk because he's so short.
Yeah.
Right? And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, now I'm rooting for this guy who's clearly talented, but is going to get dominated in the NBA because everyone else is 6'5" and literally overpowers him, right? So do something like that. You can't convincingly make this an underdog story because he's 6'9" and from Spain. That is not a detriment in any way, shape, or form, right? Especially not in the NBA, which is famous for having other players who are from other countries. How many Lithuanians are there? How many Germans have played? How many Serbians have played? They're from all over the place.
Yeah.
You can't look at the NBA especially is one of the most globally inclusive basketball, one of the most globally inclusive sports organizations, right? I would say second to only football.
Yeah.
So I think it's just as a fan of basketball, I thought exceptional movie in terms of you want to watch a feel-good movie, you want to watch some really great training montages, you want to watch some really good dunks and crossovers and three-pointers and, basketball, high IQ basketball plays. Probably, honestly, in terms of basketball movies, one of the best, if not the best.
How do you think a lot of these guys got offers to be in this movie? Do you think this was because the executive producers were Sandler himself and LeBron James? Do you think this was just based on friendship? He said, "Hey guys, I think,
so interestingly enough, I read a few articles. So the guy who plays Kermit,
Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards. Yep.
Okay, so he was actually recommended by Adam Sandler.
Oh.
So I think, because Adam Sandler is obviously a big basketball fan, you can see that. He's been a huge fan. He's always involved in the basketball somehow. He's great friends with Shaq. He's great friends with with LeBron.
Is he a Knicks fan? Is he a Knicks fan? Is he a Sixers fan? Like, what's his city?
I think Lakers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
He lives in Los Angeles. He's good friends with Shaq in the era when Shaq was a Laker. I think he's a Lakers guy. I don't know, but I think.
Why do you think this was set in Philadelphia?
Probably also because, maybe the organization wanted it.
Yeah.
I think maybe they you look at that. Maybe he's a Sixers fan. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Honestly, I have no idea.
Yeah.
But I imagine it's because either someone close to him is a Sixers fan, or maybe the writer is, or something like that. I don't know. Or maybe the organization was the only one that said, yeah, we'll be in this movie. We're happy to do that.
Did you like there was a lot of Rocky type montage, right? With him running up the hill. Oh, yeah,
running up the
stairs.
Which makes so much sense for Philadelphia, especially, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Well,
it was. Don't get me wrong again, and I don't mean to crap on the movie. I really liked it. I just think it was very predictable. Yeah. It wasn't what I was hoping for, given how uncut Gems was for Adam Sandler.
You know what? The curiosity I have about a movie like this is that I don't understand why. You and I have just been spitballing this for 20 minutes now, right? And we kind of came up with some different plot contrivances that would have made things a little bit more interesting. I'm really surprised with all the, the folks attached to this, that they couldn't just take not even a day, but a script should take versions and treatments and brainstormings and retreats. And we're not asking for a lot, it's not like this had to be 2 years in the making, but just sit down for an hour. Right? A couple hours, come back the next morning over coffee and just spitball it with a few people. There wasn't any better plot formula that they could come up with. And no one said hey, okay, that's fine. But that's been done before. Can't we add a little bit of a wrinkle to spice it up? Or does the guy really need to have a criminal background? Was it necessary to do that? Is that really the conflict that we want for the person? Is this really what we want Adam Sandler to be like? I just felt it undermined a little bit all the good elements by having such a vanilla, plot.
Yeah, and there were elements to it where also, how his best friend from college ends up being one of these premier sports agents, and he actually invites him to be a sports agent instead of the scouting guy. I thought that was the direction that they were going to go, where he's like, all right, fine, I quit. I'm going to manage the guy.
I agree.
I'm going to find other talent.
I totally
agree. And they didn't go that direction at all.
I totally agree.
They just introduced the concept. They introduced Kenny Smith, and then they walked away from it.
I thought, absolutely, I agree with you. I thought that was going to be the opportunity. He said, you know what? I'll be the manager of this guy myself. I'll train him. I'll represent him. I'll find him a contract. I thought that would be a good opportunity for them to team up, and suddenly he'd be this big power broker. And he'd be able to see his daughter on her birthdays and blah blah blah.
And they went out of their way to say he's highly respected in the NBA. People know him. Dirk Nowitzki's on his speed dial. Yeah. He's got all these guys. So I thought what an ending that would have been is to see him to see him kick ass, and then to have the 76ers come to him to negotiate a salary.
He's the new Jerry Maguire. He's the new Jerry Maguire.
Exactly. So that would have been a different thing too, right? But instead, he accepts the thing that he wants to be an assistant coach to Doc Rivers in the Sixers, and it felt so anticlimactic for what it was.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't like the arrest record. I didn't like the airport scene, and I didn't like how they just kind of made the initial tryout and then kind of the combine seem like this kind of make or break, either he goes to the NBA or he doesn't. He could have had a very, very, a separate path, he could have gone down and he could have been relegated to a Spanish team and worked his way up, or
the D League in the US or the G League or whatever it's called.
Adam Sandler could have been then an assistant coach, and he could have vouched for the guy and brought him back to a different team. There were a lot of different directions to go. And I think the a more dynamic plot would have made this like a very good film. Instead, it was just a very good basketball action movie, but the basketball was really, really good, I have to say.
So, going back to your earlier question, I think there's one of two things. One, we always evaluate movies after we've seen them, so, you know, hindsight is always 20/20, right?
Yeah.
And two, you know, it's also could just be that we're excellent writers and people haven't come to us yet.
I mean, I agree with both of those things. We do evaluate them, you know, in hindsight. But I agree. I mean, everyone should be evaluating a movie in hindsight. Like when you write a script before you start filming, it's hindsight to look at the script, right? Like
that's true. That's true. Once you've written it, you can evaluate it. It's
not like it's not like you're filming in real time and saying like, okay, what should we film next? What should the dialogue be? Quick.
Right. You're
so like,
absolutely right.
it's everyone should be doing that and saying, okay, here's a script. Like, let's just bring in someone else to read it. You know, let's just think about like, is this dynamic? Are we happy with it? Is this our vision? And for me, I mean, we talked about this when we talked about Jurassic Park. Like, for me, the difference between a really great movie and just a movie that I can sit through is like, do I feel like I got like some type of surprise or I learned something or something like challenged me a little bit that I didn't, it subverted my expectations. That's what you always like to say, Pete. Did it subvert my expectations? And I have to say, there was nothing about Hustle that like surprised me.
Yeah.
Nothing.
No, totally. Everything was predictable.
Yeah.
And you know what? Maybe we should just announce it now in live. If any of you are making a movie, we will gladly, Films and Stuff will offer its consulting services to you right now to make your movie better. If you're worried that it's not good enough, we will critique the ever-loving heck out of it.
And we'll give you a hoodie so that we all have matching hoodies while we're brainstorming on it. Yeah. But you know what? You know what this feels like? I don't know about you. I think I've mentioned this before. You know, my mom and sisters love these Hallmark movies that you see, especially around Christmas and New Year's. And these movies, the plot is so obvious from the beginning. You know exactly what's going to happen. Yeah. Exactly what's going to happen, right? But still people watch them because they want to see it happen. But for me, like, you can walk out of the room, you can get popcorn, you can take a phone call, you can do whatever, come back. Oh, this is what happened? Okay, well, I know what I missed, right? And that's what frustrates me about a movie. I want a movie where I'm afraid to leave. Because if I leave, there's going to be a reveal or a twist or something that I did not see coming.
That's going to change the dynamic of everything. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what I love.
That's the thing, right? If you want to make that movie, because you're, you know, to your sisters and your mom's credit, there are times where you want to just brainlessly watch a movie where you can kind of see things coming because it's a feel-good thing and you just feel like you want to watch that. That's fine. But in that case, do you really need to spend millions and millions and millions of dollars perfecting this beautiful art of basketball on this movie? Like, go the extra length, right? Go the extra mile. Make a movie that's equally as good as the level of basketball that you're showing in this movie.
Pete, I want to give you a gift. My gift to you is the following recommendation for a show that I found. And it has completely surprised me in terms of how good it is. I thought it was going to be super miserable, and I just started it on a whim. It's The Flight Attendant on HBO Plus.
Oh, man. So I have heard of it because it stars Kaylee Cuoco, but I never saw it because I just saw the poster.
Yes, it looks terrible.
And I was just like, forget about it. I'm not interested.
If you would have asked me before I watched it, what I would have expected. Let's not use our scale. Let's use like a 1 to 10. I would have been like 3. Pretty basic stuff. I have to say, it is very close to exceptional. I'm not sure if I want to use the word exceptional. It is really, really close to being exceptional.
It's what genre? It's a drama? It's a comedy? It's a mystery?
I would say it's a mystery drama. It's a mystery drama. Shall I give kind of like the premise? I don't know if I should.
Let me.
Why don't you watch episode 1 and then we'll do like a podcast on it because you'll get the premise after the first one. I don't want to give away kind of like the big episode 1 reveal because that'll be fun for you to see. But after that, then all the other episodes are based on what happened in that episode 1. And I have to say, I'm really surprised by it.
I saw the not even the trailer. I literally saw a picture of it. I saw Kaylee Cuoco on that picture, on the poster. She's wearing a flight attendant's uniform. And I was just like, well, okay, I know Kaylee Cuoco from The Big Bang Theory, from How I Met Your Mother, or not How I Met Your Mother, 10 Rules About Dating My Daughter, something like that. So I was like, oh, this is just going to be another cheap, cheesy sitcom. And I'm not in the mood to see a sitcom. So then and there, and I will say I judged a book by its cover or a show by its poster, and I called it. I was like, I'll watch it one day, maybe, or maybe if I'm on a long flight and there's nothing else to watch, I'll see it. But
you know what, Pete? I don't hold that against you though, because when you create all this theme about like don't judge a book by its cover, it's what's inside that counts. Fine. If you've got a long time to get to evaluate something, when you're looking at a movie or a TV show, the only thing you judge usually is the cover. Knowing that when you create the cover, you should really create an amazing cover, right? That's on the cover artist.
I agree. Okay, so let's take a quick detour back to Hustle.
Reality. Hustle.
Again,
it's a
excellent
mooch.
basketball
For
movie.
me, it's a mooch.
Very generic storyline, and I agree. I think it's a mooch. If you don't have Netflix, I think borrow someone's password, watch it. If you have Netflix, don't prioritize it, but certainly put it on. You'll see some of the better depictions of basketball on film that you've ever seen.
I think that's the important caveat, though. If you're going to watch this with your girlfriend, she's not going to enjoy the movie, or she's just going to enjoy looking at dudes without their shirts on. That's also
unless she's also a basketball fanatic.
Yeah, unless you're really, really a basketball fan and you really like watching like training exercises, because some of the ball handling they do, the shooting they do, it's very, very impressive. But if that's not your thing, you're really not going to enjoy this film, I think.
I agree. Which is, exactly. So I would say the same. But again, this is not us trying to cover every base. So for me, it's definitely a mooch. Spend some time with it, but don't prioritize. Certainly don't get Netflix just for this show.
Oh no. Pete, what is the next feature film coming out that we have to see? Is it Thor?
Lightyear
or Bullet
comes
Train?
out. Lightyear comes out next week, as does I think the Minions. The next major one I can think of, is Thor.
Thor is coming out July, right?
July 8th.
What about Bullet Train? When is Bullet Train?
Oh, actually, I think Bullet Train comes out first. I'm pretty sure that's a June release. I think it's the last week of June. So that one I'm very much looking forward to.
Yeah, I have to say Thor, Bullet Train, and then Avatar 2 is coming in the autumn, right?
Yeah, it's December sometime, yeah.
So it's Thor and Bullet Train, and then there's a big gap, huh?
There's still quite a few. No, Elvis is coming out. I think that's also in July. I think we've also got Nope. That's also maybe in July or August. There's still quite a few films coming out.
Pete.
Speaking of which.
Oh, tell us.
Just quickly, in case you haven't watched it, the Black Adam trailer just dropped.
Oh, did it? I have not seen it.
I think this morning. I just saw it. It's interesting. It's fine. It's a DC superhero movie, so take that to mean whatever it will.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be anything fantastic, and I'm skeptical that even The Rock can save it.
Oh, that's a very, very probably pessimistic statement, yeah?
That is pessimistic, and I'm being very open about it. I think DC has so much work to do, and they, again, are, it seems like they're skipping a lot of the legwork. They're setting up a superhero team. They're setting up these things. It seems not appropriate.
Please,
but to be determined.
Please
I hope
call
I'm wrong.
Films and Stuff. Email us. We are more than happy to help straighten out this universe that seems to be collapsing upon
Walter
itself.
Hamada, if you're listening at Warner Brothers, please give us a call. We're happy to help. I'm not a fan of the DC universe as it stands. We can figure things out. Things are falling apart. Things are not looking good for the stars of your Justice League universe. So I think you need to do a hard reset and kind of boot everybody out.
Yeah.
Bring Ethan and myself in, and I promise you we'll do a better job.
We'll give it everything we've got.
And more.
And more.
Anyway, thanks, guys.
Lovely,
Thank you,
lovely,
Ethan.
lovely. Please email us, contact us with comments, get a hoodie, refer a friend. That's backwards. Refer a friend, get a hoodie.
At F&S Podcast, or email us at aloha@filmsandstuffpodcast.com.
Aloha means hello. Okay, Pete, great episodes today.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks, everyone, for listening.
Enjoy the flight attendant.
Yeah, I will do. I definitely
Indeed.
will.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great week.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Films and Stuff. If you haven't already, please subscribe and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever podcasts are downloaded. Films and Stuff. There is no substitute.